The Old Testament is full of prophets. These prophets were not just ordinary men. They were chosen by God to deliver his messages to the people. They played a crucial role in guiding, warning, and sometimes even rebuking the nation of Israel. Their lives were often marked by extraordinary events and divine encounters. These men were God's messengers. They were tasked with the heavy responsibility of conveying God's words, often in times of great difficulty and opposition. Their messages were not always welcomed, but they remained steadfast in their mission. They spoke God's words to the people. Their proclamations were sometimes filled with hope and promise, but other times they were stern warnings of impending judgment. Regardless of the nature of their message, they were always rooted in God's truth. Hosea was one of these prophets. He was called by God during a particularly turbulent period in Israel's history. His life and ministry were unique, marked by a very unusual command from God. He lived in a time of turmoil. The nation of Israel was facing political instability, social unrest, and spiritual decline. It was a period when the people had turned away from God, seeking solace in false idols and empty rituals. The nation of Israel was straying from God. They were worshipping idols. These idols, made of wood and stone, had no power to save or help them, yet the people were drawn to them, abandoning the true God who had delivered them from slavery in Egypt. They were forgetting God's love and faithfulness. Despite all that God had done for them, they turned their backs on him, choosing instead to follow their own desires and the practices of the surrounding nations. Hosea's life took an unexpected turn. God gave him a command that would not only challenge him personally, but also serve as a powerful symbol to the nation of Israel. God gave him a difficult command. He was to marry a woman named Gomer. This was not a typical marriage arrangement. It was laden with profound meaning and purpose. He was to marry a woman named Gomer. Gomer was not a woman of good repute. She was known for her promiscuity and unfaithfulness, making this command even more perplexing and challenging for Hosea. This was no ordinary marriage. Gomer was a prostitute. Her lifestyle was in direct contrast to the holy and righteous life that Hosea was called to live as a prophet of God. She was known for her unfaithfulness. This marriage was meant to be a living parable, a real-life illustration of Israel's unfaithfulness to God. This unusual command was meant to teach Israel a powerful lesson. Through Hosea's marriage to Gomer, God was showing Israel how they had been unfaithful to him, yet his love for them remained steadfast. The story of Hosea is a love story. It is a story of unconditional love, forgiveness, and redemption. Despite Gomer's unfaithfulness, Hosea continued to love her, just as God continued to love Israel despite their waywardness. It's about God's love for his people. God's love is not based on our faithfulness, but on his unchanging nature. He loves us even when we fail him. It shows how much God cares even when they turn away. God's love is persistent and relentless, always seeking to bring us back to him. Hosea's life becomes a living parable. His actions, his marriage, and his unwavering love for Gomer all serve as a powerful message to the people of Israel. It's a dramatic illustration of God's relationship with Israel. Through Hosea, God was calling his people back to a relationship of love, faithfulness, and devotion. Why would God ask Hosea to do such a thing? The answer lies in the heart of God. God's love is vast and deep. He wanted to demonstrate this love in a way that Israel would understand. God said to Hosea, "Go, take to yourself a wife of whoredom and children of whoredom, for the land has committed great whoredom by departing from the Lord." This wasn't a suggestion, it was a direct command. God wasn't endorsing Gomer's lifestyle, he was using it as a powerful symbol. Israel was like Gomer. They were being unfaithful to God by worshipping other gods. Their actions broke God's heart. Hosea and Gomer's marriage became a living metaphor. It was a tangible representation of the relationship between God and Israel. God was the faithful husband. He loved Israel unconditionally. Israel was the unfaithful wife. They chased after other gods. These idols promised them happiness, but they only brought emptiness and pain. Through Hosea's actions, God was showing his people the depth of their sin. He was also revealing the depth of his love. Even though Israel had been unfaithful, God still loved them. Imagine the pain Hosea must have felt. He experienced betrayal and heartbreak. His wife, the woman he loved, was unfaithful to him. This was a constant source of sorrow, yet Hosea remained faithful. He continued to love Gomer. He even forgave her and took her back after her betrayals. This was a powerful reflection of God's love for Israel. Hosea's life became a living parable. It was a message that transcended words. It was a message written in the language of human experience. It was a message that resonated with the people of Israel. Section 5. Lessons in Love and Redemption. What Hosea teaches us. The Book of Hosea is filled with valuable lessons. It teaches about God's unwavering love. It highlights the destructive nature of sin. It offers hope for redemption and reconciliation. One of the most powerful lessons is about the nature of God's love. God loves us unconditionally. He loves us even when we are unfaithful. He loves us even when we turn away from Him. Hosea shows us that God is always ready to forgive. No matter how far we have strayed, God is waiting to welcome us back. He longs for us to return to Him so that He can restore our relationship. Section 6. Unwavering Love, God's pursuit of His people. Throughout the book of Hosea, we see God relentlessly pursuing His people. He sends prophets, He sends warnings, He allows hardship to come upon them. All of this is done out of love. God's love is not passive. He doesn't just sit back and wait for us to get our act together. He actively pursues us. He longs for us to turn back to Him. He wants to heal our brokenness. Hosea's life, his marriage, his message all point to this unwavering love. It's a love that never gives up. It's a love that goes to extraordinary lengths to bring us back into a relationship with Him. Section 7. The power of forgiveness, a chance to return. Hosea's willingness to forgive Gomer is a powerful illustration of God's forgiveness. Just as Hosea took Gomer back, God is always ready to forgive us. He is eager to welcome us back into His loving arms. God's forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of His incredible strength and love. It takes great strength to forgive. It takes even greater strength to forgive repeatedly. The book of Hosea reminds us that no matter what we've done, we can always return to God. He is waiting with open arms, ready to forgive and restore. Section 8. Beyond the surface, finding relevance for today. The story of Hosea might seem like an ancient tale set in a time and place far removed from our own. It unfolds in the backdrop of an ancient Middle Eastern town with prophets and scrolls that seem almost mythical to us today, but its message is timeless, transcending the ages and speaking directly to the core of our human experience. As the sun rises over the desert landscape, we are reminded of the enduring nature of its lessons. It speaks to the human condition, addressing the universal struggles and emotions that we all face. Whether in moments of deep thought or in lively discussions, the themes of Hosea resonate with us. It addresses our tendency to stray, our capacity for unfaithfulness, and our deep need for love and forgiveness. These are not just ancient issues, but are very much alive in our daily interactions and relationships. We may not be worshipping idols in the literal sense, but in our modern world we have our own forms of idolatry. The bustling city skyline and the constant hum of modern devices remind us of the distractions we face. We often place other things above God in our lives, whether it's our work, our shopping habits, or even our screen time. These modern distractions can easily take precedence over our spiritual well-being. We chase after success, money, possessions, or relationships, believing that these will bring us happiness and fulfillment. The allure of luxury and the pursuit of status can become our primary focus. We allow these things to become our idols, consuming our thoughts and dictating our actions. The stress and anxiety that come with managing these idols can be overwhelming. The message of Hosea reminds us to reevaluate our priorities, urging us to take a step back and reflect on what truly matters. In moments of solitude and group study, we find the space to reconnect with our faith. It challenges us to put God first in our lives, to raise our hands in praise and find quiet moments in worship. The communal and personal aspects of faith are both essential in this journey. It encourages us to turn away from anything that separates us from Him, to walk away from the crowd and find peace in simplicity. By removing distractions, we can focus on what truly brings us closer to God. Section 9. A timeless message, Hosea's echo in our lives. The story of Hosea is more than just a history lesson. It transcends time and culture, reaching into the very essence of human experience. Hosea's life and message are a profound testament to the enduring nature of divine love and the relentless pursuit of a wayward people. It's a call to action. Hosea's words challenge us to examine our own lives, to see where we have strayed, and to recognize the areas where we need to return to our spiritual roots. His message is a clarion call to renew our commitment to faith and to live out the principles of love and justice in our daily lives. It's an invitation to experience God's love and forgiveness. Hosea's story is a vivid illustration of the boundless grace that is available to each of us, no matter our past mistakes or current struggles. It reminds us that we are never beyond the reach of divine mercy. It's a reminder that no matter how far we've strayed, we can always return to Him. The imagery of Hosea's relentless pursuit of his unfaithful wife serves as a powerful metaphor for God's unwavering commitment to us. It reassures us that we are always welcome back into the fold, no matter how far we've wandered. As we reflect on the life of Hosea, let us be reminded of God's unwavering love. His story is a beacon of hope, illuminating the path back to spiritual wholeness. It encourages us to trust in the steadfast love of the Creator, who is always ready to forgive and restore. Let us be challenged to live lives of faithfulness and obedience. Hosea's message is not just about receiving forgiveness, but also about transforming our lives in response to that grace. It calls us to embody the values of compassion, integrity, and devotion in all that we do. Let us be encouraged by the promise of His forgiveness and restoration. The story of Hosea assures us that renewal is always possible, that new beginnings are within our grasp. It inspires us to believe in the power of redemption and the possibility of a brighter future. The story of Hosea continues to echo through the ages. Its themes of love, betrayal, forgiveness, and redemption are as relevant today as they were in ancient times. Hosea's message resonates with the universal human experience, speaking to the timeless truths that bind us all. It's a story of love, betrayal, forgiveness, and redemption. Hosea's life is a poignant narrative that mirrors the complexities of our own relationships and the profound depths of divine love. It invites us to reflect on our own journeys and the ways in which we can seek and offer forgiveness. It's a story that speaks to the deepest longings of the human heart. Hosea's message addresses our innate desire for connection, understanding, and reconciliation. It reminds us that we are all part of a larger story, one that is woven with threads of grace and redemption. It's a story that continues to offer hope and healing to all who will listen. Hosea's timeless message is a source of comfort and inspiration, encouraging us to embrace the transformative power of love and forgiveness in our own lives. It calls us to listen, to learn, and to live out the principles of faith with renewed vigor and purpose. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content.